Geeky Girls Knit Podcast. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Damaris, also known as Damaris Dash, a bit weird.
And we're glad to have you today. Today is Wednesday, the 30th of July, 2014. And this is episode 99. The penultimate episode.
To 100. Not the second to last episode ever.
No, we're not leaving you guys. We love you. We are still debating what we're going to do for the 100th episode. We shall see. Watch next week and see. We'd like to say a big welcome back to all of our returning viewers. We love you. And a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for checking us out. We hope you enjoy the show. We have some new members in our group. So, Mary, you want to give them a shout out?
Sure. Nitty Girl 78, who is Aubrey from Vermont. Katie Downey, who is Katie from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. L'Oreal, who is Lori from Pennsylvania. Kay Elizabeth Fleck, who is Cara from Indiana.
I fangirled when she joined because I've been following her online other places. And so I really squeezed very loud when she joined.
SF Chick, who is Raina from
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
I was about to say Philadelphia. No, that's a city. And Itzigine, who is Irene from Harwick, United Kingdom.
Hopefully we didn't butcher that pronunciation. We sat here and debated for several minutes how to pronounce that. So we're sorry if we pronounced it wrong. Yeah. So hiya. Welcome to the group. If you have not joined our Ravelry group, you need to go do it right this very second right now. Pause and we'll wait for you, okay? Okay, and now that you did that, find the introductions thread and introduce yourself. And when you do that, we give you a shout out in the next week's episode. So, we are almost to 600 members. That's a lot of you guys. And we love it. All right, we have a bazillion things to talk about. And finally get to reveal some secret stuff to you this week. That I've been waiting for months and months to reveal. So, we probably should get started. All right, here we go.
Now we're going to talk about what's on our needles and spindles.
So what's on your needles and spindles, Mare?
Socks.
Pretty.
Mine the Gap socks. I finished both heels.
Yay. Okay, so tell us all about them.
These are...
And don't stab me in the face with the knitting needles.
These are mine the Gap socks. The yarn is Trailing Clouds in the Mind the Gap colorway. And I'm using US 1/2's 2.5 millimeters.
So what, you're just doing a basic vanilla sock, but what heel did you do?
OMG.
Okay, by,
Ian Williams
yeah,
and Stockinette Zombies.
That's right. So, you, hold them back up again. Okay, so turn around the other way. Okay, so you've done the heel. So how long are you going to make the leg?
Foot length.
So, like, if you fold it over and so you're going to keep knit. Okay, wait, let's turn it this way. Like that. So you're going to knit to right there. And then do your cuff. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 or 7 stripes left. Not bad. They're very pretty. I wore mine this weekend and they were lovely. And I got lots of compliments on them. Because they're so bright. Alright, anything else you want to say about those?
Nope.
Okay, what else?
Spinning. I'm not done with it yet. This is 100 grams of Countess Ablaze in the Nightmare colorway. I don't want to say what's all in it because it's so many things.
Merino, Black Diamond, Bamboo, and Tri-Level Nylon Firestar. There you go.
I say it every week.
I know. But what if somebody's brand new and they've never watched before and they don't know? And they're like, OMG, that's the colorway I need. What's in it? What is it?
Countess Ablaze.
You said something really funny this week about...
Yes, I made a terrible pun about it and I wasn't trying to. I said it's going to be a nightmare applying it because I have so much of it. And then I realized what I did and started laughing hysterically.
Because the colorway is Nightmare. So how much do you have left to spin? You keep telling me a lot, but I don't know how much that is.
A lot.
You finished like 75% of it already, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you're on the last 25%.
Yes, I have a little bunch of it, and then a bit about that wide.
But how long?
Like length.
Oh, okay. All right, that's a lot.
Yes.
All right, anything else you want to talk about?
No.
No? Okay. All right, so let me talk about what's on my needles. First up, I moved it over to the Doctor Who bag because, you know, that's just appropriate. So super, super, super secret project number 5, which is the first sock pattern for the Doctor Who Companion Sock Club 2nd edition, is being designed and it's in this bag. I was doing really great with it, and then I got a horrible summer cold and had some other health stuff that happened this week, and my brain has been so foggy that I have not been able to focus on it. But I'm hoping that I can work on it today because it's going really great and I really love how it's knitting out. So that's in progress, being designed. The other thing I actually just cast on last night because I needed a mindless project. So, this is the Endless Rainbow by Martina Bem. I'm using Sheep Dreamery Arundel in the Peony colorway. That's not totally, oh, that's a little bit better. The sun's kind of shining on it. It's a pink semi-solid. And with it, I am using 5 Moons Artemis 4-ply in the Rainbow Nebula colorway, and it does have sparkle in it.
And it smells so good.
It does, but it's really strong. So I bought this at Unwind Brighton, and it didn't smell really that when I bought it. But then when Damaris schemed it and put it on the Swift so that we could wind it yesterday, I was like, what is that smell? And it's a really, really strong smell, and I actually went on their website, and it's apparently a
fabric conditioner.
Yes, but that's not the word I was looking for. It's like, apparently they do that to all of their yarn. They put a fabric conditioner on it after they finish dyeing it, and it gives it a, like a trademark smell. If I had realized how strong it was, I probably would have soaked it before we caked it up, because it is really strong. It's not a bad smell, but it's just really strong, and so I have to be really careful because it can be overpowering. Anyway, so I cast this on last night. I'm using US 1.5 2.5 mil needles, and I have done 6 of the triangles. And she has a really cool technique where you only have 4 ends to weave in at the end, and actually I've already woven in the first 2, because you carry the yarn, the pink yarn, across using a crochet hook technique, so that you only have 4 ends total, 2 per color. So, and that's why it's called Endless Rainbow, because the color just carries all the way through. So, I'm slowly getting familiar with the pattern enough to where I'll hopefully have it memorized pretty soon. But I really like how it's turning out. And see, won't it be a beautiful shawlette? Can't you just tell, you know, from that little bit right there? So anyway, the first ones go so fast because they're really short, but then you're increasing stitches as you go. So each section takes a little bit longer than the last. So, but I love how the colors are turning out. And I told the Hubs and Damaris last night that I'm really glad that when I bought the multicolor for the rainbow part, that I didn't get something that had this pale pink in it, because it would have gotten lost. Whereas since I picked such a bright rainbow colorway, it flows really well through it. So I'm loving it. And I have nothing on my spindle. I'm taking a spinning break for a little while. So that's everything that's on our needles and spindles. So I think we're ready for the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about our finished projects.
So Damaris, did you finish something this week?
Yes.
Did you knit it?
No.
Did you spin it?
No.
Did you stand on one leg and do the hula?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You want to tell us about what you did?
I sewed a skirt.
It's lovely. Okay, so tell us about the skirt and what you did.
I sewed it. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, so where did we get the pattern from?
The Artisan.
So we'll link it in the show notes. And It's got pocketses. So we went over to our friend Katie's house, and she gave you a sewing lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So what did y'all do first? Measurements.
Yes.
And then you had to draw out your pattern on paper.
Uh-huh.
Because it's one of these that you can, that you do yourself. And so you did all that, and then you had to cut out the fabric and pin it and sew it and elastic it and try it on and pin it and sew it and all that stuff. And what do you think of it?
I like it.
It's really cute on. I like it. And it looks good with a lot of things because it's gray. And so what do you think your next sewing project will be?
I don't know.
Maybe another skirt?
Maybe.
You have some of the fabric left over. And I suggested that she get like a solid color and do the same pattern again. And do like a strip of this, a strip of a solid. Because you don't have enough left of it to do a whole nother skirt, but you have enough to combine it with something, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'd be cool. Anything else you want to say about your skirt?
No.
What's your favorite part?
What?
What's your favorite part of your skirt? I would say the pockets is. What was your favorite part of sewing?
Sewing?
Sewing? Okay, is there anything else you want to say about your skirt?
No.
Okay. Alright, I have a few things finished this week too. I did not sew anything. But I did knit and spin some things. So, first up is another preemie hat. This is number 18 for the year. This is from my top-down preemie hat pattern. That's free on Ravelry. I did it on US 6's 4mm needles, and this yarn is James C. Brett Marble Chunky in the 32MC colorway. This is left over from when I did Baby Waylon's blanket and sweater and hats, my nephew that was born in December. So this is left over from that. It's a little more turquoisey in person. So, number 18 for the year. And then I did some spinning and finished some spinning this week. So this was a chocolate brown unknown fiber that somebody had just given to me, and I still don't know what it actually is. And I had 24 grams of it, and I ended up with a 2-ply heavy fingering sport weight, and I have 93 1/3 yards, so about 84 1/3 meters of it, and it's really soft. I'm not sure what it is. I'm thinking of making something with it using this and the hot pink poonies that I spun during the Ravelinics. I don't know if I have enough yardage to do a hat, but it would be fun to stripe the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And do something. So, I'm thinking about that. And I spun a whole lot last week trying to finish this up by the end of Tour de Fleece. So I'm taking a little spinning break because I kind of got overloaded. Yeah. And then the third thing I finished is another pair of socks. So, this is just a basic vanilla sock pattern that I used, and I did the Fish Lips Kiss heel. And I did it on US 1.5's 2.5 millimeters, and this is from Easy Knits. It was they called it their Super Sushi Roll, which it was a sock blank in the lovely Lydia colorway. And I didn't use hardly any of it. I still have a ton left, enough for another pair of socks. And it's primarily a super hot pink that was kind of in the middle of these two. I used the Nitty Knotty yesterday and wound it up. And it was so hysterical because I took it off the Nitty Knotty and it like all sucked in and curled up because it had already been pre-knitted fabric. So I probably will use some other leftover yarn for maybe like the toe and the heel and the cuff, and then use the rest of the gradient for the leg and foot of the sock. So I'm going to get another pair of socks out of this as well. But I love how these turned out. And it blocked out so well you can't even tell that it was originally already knitted fabric when I knit from it. So yeah, so I'm excited to wear them. They're really soft and I like them. And that's everything I finished this week. Yeah. All right. Well, we should move on to the next segment. And now it's time for my favorite part of our show. Yummies. What are yummies, Mary?
Yummies are our current favorite things we like, things we want to talk to you about.
Yummies. So, you want to start?
Sure. The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies trailer, which they changed the subtitle to, the trailer has come out.
Yes, and it's amazing.
And I'm gonna cry.
So we'll put it in the show notes so you can watch it. But it comes out in December.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the original subtitle? Do you remember?
They're back again.
Okay, yeah. But they've changed it to the Battle of the Five Armies. So.
Which is the name of one chapter, I think.
Okay. But they'd already really...
Yeah, but that's why they said the defining chapter.
Yeah. Because they had really already been there and back again.
Well, that's what the book itself is called, The Hobbit There and Back Again.
Yeah.
I think.
But we'd already
dealt... Hobbit and the Journey. I don't remember.
They'd already dealt with kind of going there and back again in the other two movies.
They hadn't gone back.
Okay, well, you know what I mean. It was more There and Back Again was more of an overarching theme for all three movies. Not for the last movie. So. Alright, you want to talk about the next thing?
Sure. You have to watch the Marvel Comic-Con panel.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Where's my flower?
It was hysterical. I watched a lot of panel stuff yesterday. It was so funny. So there's a link in the show notes to watch the video. And it's really funny. I was sad that Joss wasn't there.
Yeah, he had knee surgery.
And also Scarlett wasn't there because she's
pregnant.
So. Alright, anything else about Marvel? It's awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of the press line stuff.
Okay.
Other stuff. Chris Evans did an interview with Marco. Like, when we gotta get a Hulk standalone? He's just like really enthusiastic about it.
Okay, and then I watched the Outlander Q&A that happened.
Was it the press line?
No, it was a panel.
Was that at Comic-Con?
I don't know if it was at Comic-Con or not.
Was the background a bunch of eyes?
No.
Oh. I mean eyes, like to see with.
No, it was not.
Okay.
But it was hysterical. It was so funny. It is not safe for children. Damaris did not watch or listen. Not safe for children. Outlander is an adult book and an adult film. A movie, not a movie, TV show coming up. So anyway, there's a link to that in the show notes. It's really good. So.
And now the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yes. I finally get to show you the first month of the Doctor Who Companion Sock Club first edition. Because the yarn had been sent out last week when we recorded, but the pattern was not going to be released until Friday. Because we wanted to try to give everybody a chance to get their yarn. And not everybody received their yarn at that point. Mostly international people hadn't received it yet. But enough people had that it was okay. Because we didn't want them to get spoiled. So, the first month, my favorite, River Song. So this was called, it was on Julia's Snug Base. It's spoilers. And this is what's left over. So it's a black and white and reddish and reddish pink. So, here is the sock pattern. So, what we have is a cable going down the outside of the foot and the inside of the leg. They're mirror images. So that one goes down the inside of the leg. that goes out down the outside of the leg and the foot. And then on the front and back, it's hard to show you because I'm just going to take it off of here so that I can kind of show you a little bit better. The front and back in between the cables is the TARDIS windows, but also River's Journal has this same TARDIS panel. And so that's on the front and the back. So these were knit toe up. They're available in 64 stitch and 72 stitch size. I used US 1.5, 2.5 mil needles, but whatever you need to get gauge. Now, for the first 6 months, this pattern is exclusive to the Yarn Club members. So, if you were not in the Yarn Club, you can't get the pattern right now. However, the exclusivity will run out in January, so it will be available to the general public on Sunday the 18th of January 2015. So, if you're interested in the pattern for this, stay tuned because it's becoming available. And I'm so excited and so proud of how this turned out, and I think everybody is loving the pattern and loving the yarn. And there was goodies too, so let me show you the goodies that came with it. Well, Julia from Handy as Jewels just sent us buttons. Damaris got the goodies as well. I'm just going to show you my set though because they're the exact same. So for the first month, you got a Hello Sweetie stitch marker with the Pandia's Jewels logo on the back. I've been waiting to use this. And then you got 3 badges. You got the, what's it called? Bashta Narada.
In the suit.
In the suit, in the astronaut suit.
The skeleton in the suit. That's what it
Yep.
is.
You get the exploding TARDIS. And you get the Hello Sweetie. Julia did so great in getting the goodies. So that was just the first month. So there are 2 more months still to go in the first edition collection. So stay tuned in the next couple of months and I will show those to y'all. So I am just super excited. And Julia and I are already working on the second edition of the club. Like I said earlier in what I'm working on, I'm designing the first pattern right now, and then I already have the yarn for the second and third. I just have to get it designed. Along on that note, I decided to move the stuff for my design business out of the Geeky Girls Knit podcast group on Ravelry into its own separate group. So there is now a Java Pearl Designs / CC Almond group on Ravelry. And there's a link in the show notes. I would love for you to come join. If you're interested in test knitting for me, that's a place for you to join. If you want to show off your Java Pearl Designs finished objects, that's the place for you to go. And if you have questions about any of my designs, that's the place to go. So come join the group, and I will be glad to have you. And it's been a lot of fun already visiting with people about patterns and such. So come join that. You want to talk about what's next while I get a good drink of water?
Sure. The Doctor Who Series 8 premiere, Deep Breath, will be in cinemas also.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I didn't expect them to do that. So, and when is that? It's
August 23rd.
That's right. So, they haven't released all the details about it yet. No. I did put a link in the show notes to the article about that they released about doing that, but they haven't given us details yet. So I'm not sure if we're going to go to the cinema or not. We will talk about it and see. All right. Next up, did you bring yours in here even? Okay. So our friend Kirsten, who is
Amaya.
I think that's how you say it on Ravelry. She's in our knitting group on Monday nights. She and I were talking the other night about spinning, and she brought Damaris and I silk hankies to try to spin. So, oh wow, it's really sticky. I hadn't opened mine yet. These are from Hilltop Cloud, and she gave Damaris and I each 15 grams. So you pull these apart and you spin them, you can also pull them apart and just knit from them. So, thank you to Kirsten for these. I'm excited to try them. And I was also interested to note, I was watching the Knit Girls podcast this morning, and their August Expand Your Horizon is silk hankies. So, this will probably be the next thing I try to spin after I get over my spinning break. So, thank you so much to Kirsten for those. We're excited to try spinning those. All right, Tour de Fleece is over. It was long and hard, but I finished 2 spinning projects during Tour de Fleece, the brown that I showed you today, and then the 9 pinkish bumps, the 3-ply that I showed last week. And I met my goal of spinning at least 15 minutes a day. The only day I didn't was one of the rest days. So I spun on one rest day, but I didn't on the other one. And how did you do?
Good.
Do you remember what your goal was?
I don't.
Okay. But you spun every day.
Except one day.
Except for one rest day. So we both did good. So it was fun to do that with Team Sasquatch, and look forward to hopefully doing it again next year. Next up, I also participated in Tour de Loop during Tour de France, and it was hosted by Fresh Stitches, who is a designer on Ravelry, and you were encouraged to do at least 1 hour each day of a craft that included loops somehow, so knitting or crocheting or embroidery or tatting, things like that. So I knit, of course, for all that. So there was 21 days of Tour de France plus 2 rest days. So that was 23 days total, and you were allowed to take the rest days, but of course I did not take those. And I went way over how much. I ended up averaging 3 hours a day for the 23 days. I did 69 total hours during Tour de Loop. So I got a lot accomplished. I can't even think of everything I did. I know I did the Almonds Take London, the Gap socks. I did several preemie hats. I think maybe 3. I started on the new sock design for the Doctor Who Companion Club. I did almost all of the sock length socks. That may be it. But still, that was a lot of knitting in 23 days. So that was a lot of fun to participate in. Okay, next up is Stash Dash. This is done by the Knit Girls. And it started in May, at the end of May, May 23rd, and runs through August 7th. So we still have about 8 days left. So, and what you're trying to do is to complete 5K of yarn. So that's 5,468 yards or 5,000 meters. And you can knit it, you can spin it. They're very tutor friendly. So if you have a project in progress before it started, but you finish it during Stash Dash, you can count the whole yardage. So I won Stash Dash this week. I met with the goal and went over. So, not including what I still have in progress, I have now completed 5,707 yards, which is 5,216 meters. So I'm 239 yards, 216 meters over the 5K. Yay! So, I'm really proud of that. And how are you doing on yours?
I have 4,004 yards to go.
But that means you have completed almost 1,500 yards, which is really great for your first time ever participating. Yeah? And your socks. You'll get to include those if you finish them before the 7th. And your spinning if you finish before the 7th. So, we'll watch lots of yummy TV, and you can knit and spin and knit and spin and you knit and spin. But I am really proud of you for trying and for how much you've accomplished, this being your first time to participate. So yay, you. She has to stop knitting before she can high-five me. Alright, now it is time for hashtag GGK Crafty Bag. Do you want to tell them what that is?
Sure. You take a look at our prompts list, which is posted in the group and
on Instagram and the website, yeah.
And you take a picture for it, and we look. on Instagram for our favorite pictures for the week.
Yes.
So.
So what are we about to show them?
2 photos from us that we liked and 5 photos from other people that we liked.
So here come the photos. So those were our favorite photos this week. We also posted this week the August list.
Yes.
So that is also in the show notes and on the website and all that stuff. In the I haven't posted it in the Ravelry Group yet, I think. Oops, I forgot. I'll try to remember to do that when we don't get done recording. So our theme for August,
I don't remember,
is celebrate. Because we have 3 big celebrations coming up in August. Do you know what the first one is?
I know what 2 of them are.
Next week will be our 100th episode. That's in August. Second up, we will be celebrating 1 year of having lived in Scotland. And thirdly, we'll be celebrating our 2nd podiversary, our 2nd year of our having completed 2 years of podcasting. So we have big celebrations in August, so we wanted to celebrate with hashtag GGGG Crafty Bag. So take your pictures. Feel free to post them anywhere you want to. You're not obligated to post them on Instagram. That's just where we look for our favorites. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about upcoming events. We'll just briefly touch on them. Weekly on Mondays is when we go to our knitting group, which is the
Town Mouse Knitting Club.
Yes. Sorry, couldn't remember. So if you're in the area, we'd love to meet up with you at that. Coming up in September, the 27th, I'll be going to Yarndale in Skipton with a group of friends from here in Edinburgh. We're taking the train down and the train back, and it's going to be a mad, crazy day. We're very excited, though. And then also coming up in March of next year is the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, which we will be at. So more details about that in upcoming months. There's links to in the show notes to all the stuff, though. So, all right, that was a lot of yummies. We told you we had a lot to talk about this week. I think we probably should move on to the next segment.
Now we're going to talk about what we're reading and watching.
So what are you reading?
Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen.
Alrighty, how's it going?
Good.
You know about where you are?
I'm over halfway.
That's good. That's good. How long are you reading every day? About half an hour, an hour? Something like that? Okay, that's good. You enjoying it still?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I multitask my reading. I'm not a monogamous reader, so you get to hear about all my reading. Not all of it, but yeah, a lot of it. So I completed my nonfiction book number 11 for this year. My goal was to read at least 1 nonfiction book a month, and I'm way ahead on that because we're in July and I finished book 11 already. So the book I finished reading was called Junia is Not Alone by Scott McKnight, and it was more of a series of essays talking about women in scripture, which my background is in divinity, theology. I'm an ordained minister and served as a minister as a hospital chaplain before I got ill. So I still try to keep up to some extent in that world. And so that book had been on my Kindle for a while to read, and I just hadn't taken the time to read it, so I'm glad I read it. It was really interesting. So since I finished that one, I started a new one last night. And this book is called Flunking Sainthood, A Year of Breaking the Sabbath, Forgetting to Pray, and Still Loving My Neighbor by Jana, did you say Reese? R-I-E-S-S?
I would say Rice.
Rice? Okay. So I just started reading that last night. And it's another series of essays, but it's a full-length book, so I'm reading that one. And then fiction-wise, I'm still reading the Wicked Years series by Gregory Maguire. So I finished the second book, which is called Son of a Witch. And then I'm reading the third book, which is called A Lion Among Men. And I think I am I'm somewhere around in the 70-ish percentage, maybe around 75% done with it. So that one, so I'm sure I'll finish that this week, and then I'll start on the fourth one, the final one, which is called Out of Oz. And that's what we're reading. All right, let's talk about the television. There's a lot of it. It's not just television, it's movies too. All right, so I'll start, because you don't watch this show, even though I tell you what happens a lot of times. So the Hubs and I are still watching The Mentalist. We finished season 5, and we're watching season 6. And we're getting ever closer to Red John, and I believe them solving who it is. We're really enjoying it, and I'm like, oh, I really want to get to that episode. But what are their names? Rigsby and Grace got married a couple of nights ago. Actually, like a season ago, because we're in the season from this past year. And yeah, now they're getting ever closer to Red John. So once we finish season 6, we'll be caught up. Season 7 starts this fall. All right, you want to talk about the next one?
We're watching Cosmos, Space-Time Odyssey, and we have one episode left of that.
Yeah. So are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
I am too. It's really, really interesting. We've just been watching like one episode a night, though, because it's so much information. So we're really enjoying that, though. So do you want to talk about the next one?
We rewatched Serenity since we finished Firefly.
Yeah, we finished Firefly last week. Yeah. So I cried and cried and cried and cried. Like I do every single time we watch it. I know what's going to happen. And I still cry and cry and cry. I wish they would make a sequel. That would be fantastic.
I'm pretty sure they would all be up for it.
I'm sure they would be too.
It's like, Nathan most especially is like, yeah.
Yeah. I read somewhere, because we're really obsessed with the trivia and all the behind-the-scenes stuff we watch. So IMDb is like our best friend, and we use it constantly. It's probably like the most used app on my phone and iPad, because we're constantly looking stuff up. And so I read that, okay, here comes this. If you have not watched Serenity, I'm about to spoil it for you. Okay, because Wash and Shepard both died. And thusly, I cried a lot.
I am a leaf on the wind.
Oh.
Watch how I soar.
But in an interview, Joss said that if they do another one, he'll find a way to bring them back. So apparently in the contracts, if they could not guarantee that they could come back to film a sequel, the big production bosses, not Joss, made Joss kill them off. But I'm fairly certain they would come back, and Joss said he would find a way. Alternate universe, maybe, or something.
Yeah, you were just like, hey, do you want to know? I said, I sometimes pretend that Serenity didn't happen because Wash and Shepard died, and you were like, hey, do you want to know why Joss killed them? And I was like, because he loved them so much. And then you said no, and then you told me why, and then I said, so basically he killed them off because he loved them so much.
Yes. So, or time travel. Maybe the Doctor would sweep in and time travel and stop them being killed.
That's too far.
No, but then it goes with our shirts that we don't have on today. I'm wearing my Hello Sweetie shirt.
It's too far, and they've already done the train job.
I know, but our shirts, the train job, the TARDIS saves them, and the ship. You can't take the sky from me.
There. And we are rewatching Stargate SG1.
Love the show! And every episode I'm like, oh my gosh!
Yes, every episode she's like, she reads this and she's like, oh, I remember this one. Oh, it's a good episode. Oh my gosh, I love this episode.
Because, like, we're on IMDb, like I told you, and I'm, like, looking to see if there's trivia or seeing who's guesting in the episode or whatever, and I'm like, ah!
And I'm like, oh,
show.
Yes, and I want to say something funny. So I saw an image from an old X-Men cartoon that had Bruce Banner in it, and he looked exactly like Season 1 Daniel Jackson, who looks exactly like Milo Thatch from Atlantis the Lost Empire.
Which is an animated one from Disney.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
It's like someone somewhere has a thing about geeky scientists with long brown hair and big glasses.
Yes. I had totally forgotten that Jack and Sam kissed in another episode besides my favorite, which is Window of Opportunity, which is in season 4, I believe.
Do they kiss any other times?
I think those are the only 2 times. Oh, they're so in love with each other. They're so in love. So in love.
And Teal'c is a ray of sunshine.
On a cloudy day.
He's precious. He is an enormous teddy bear.
He is. And
I have the same birthday as Christopher Judge. Not the same year. It's like, I am not.
he's what, like 20...
No, 30.
25 years older, 30 years older than you?
Yeah, I was like, wait, no, he's not 25.
No, years older than you.
Yeah, but I have the same birthday as Christopher Judge.
That's pretty funny.
So,
IMDb told us so.
I can be like, if someone tells me happy birthday, I was like, yeah, it's Christopher Judge's birthday too.
We love Stargate. So, we're rewatching that, and it's so fun. The Hubs is rewatching it with us, because it's one of his favorites too. And I think we might just go ahead and do Atlantis and Stargate Universe.
Oh. Okay.
Neither of them are as good as the original SG1, but the story continues, and it's brilliant. And the movies.
Universe has Ming-Na in it.
It does. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is Agatha Christie's Poirot, which I'm watching. I'm watching series 13. I think I only have 2 episodes left. So, it's in progress. We finished rewatching season 2 of Pushing Daisies. Why did they cancel it, Maris? Why?
I don't know.
I had forgotten how it ended, and it was so sweet with the aunts finding out that she was still alive, and Emerson getting reconnected with his daughter, and the aunts doing the water show thing. I can't think of it.
Synchronized swimming.
That's what it's called. And Olive fell in love with, what's his name?
Randy.
With Randy.
Alfredo. That was his name, wasn't it? From season 1. The traveling salesman. Where
Yeah.
Stuff.
Got the
that was his name, wasn't it? Alfredo or something like that?
I can't remember.
I liked Alfredo. He was
I'm bad with
sweet.
names.
He was
Anyway.
sweet.
I was sad for it to end because it was so good. So good. We're also rewatching my favoriteest show of all time ever. Gilmore Girls. And it's brilliant. And I love it so much. So much.
In case you can't tell, she loves it so much.
I love it. I own the entire series on DVD.
But it's not here.
No, it's in the States. But
it's like this. It's almost briefcase size.
it's got a handle.
Yes, it's got a handle.
And it's brilliant. I love Gilmore Girls. So we're in season 1. We just watched episode 5 maybe?
Sure.
About Cinnamon dying. In the wake for the cat.
Maury is very tall.
He is very tall. I should have looked on IMDb and seen how tall he is.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Gunn is in almost every episode, but not Kirk. Well, in the first few, he was not Kirk, but now he's Kirk. But I'm still he was still Kirk, because Kirk works everywhere.
Yeah, he does.
He does everything.
So, and then, Damaris has never seen this, but this is a rewatch for me. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Love it! Love it! Love it. Sorry, we had to pause because the mowers arrived. So I did not get to finish raving about how much I love Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. It's brilliant. It's a little bit campy.
A little bit.
But it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I love it. With Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. Oh. You're liking it, though. She's liking it.
DC Comics is my favorite. But
it's good, isn't it?
Yes.
It's from when I was in high school, 1993. That's when it started. I was just a year older than you. Yeah, so love it. We watched some movies this week.
Mm-hmm.
You want to start or me? Me? Okay. I don't know which ones you want to talk about.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll start. So we watched Saving Mr. Banks, which was a dramatized version of the story behind Mary Poppins getting filmed.
The Making of Mary Poppins.
Yeah, The Making of Mary Poppins by Disney. And Tom Hanks played Walt Disney, and he was brilliant. And Emma Thompson was P.L. Travers.
Pamela Linden.
Okay. So it was really good. We enjoyed that. It did make me cry.
Yes, it did.
Most things make me cry.
Like the Piano Chim Chim Cheree song can make me cry every time.
And Feed the Birds. And some of the real trivia behind all that was so amazing. Everybody should have IMDb on their devices so that you can learn all the behind-the-scenes goodness.
Yeah, wasn't Richard Sherman one of the music consultants for it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to talk about the next one?
Sure. We watched The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like the 2005.
2005 one with Martin Freeman in it.
Mm-hmm.
You have anything to say?
I would never go anywhere without my wonderful towel.
Yeah. And 42. So, some people are suggesting that we watch the BBC version and listen to the radio version. And read the books.
It's basically do everything.
Yes. Well, I think there's like some comic books or something, maybe, or something. I don't know. Anyway. It was cool. And while we were watching that, we realized that Damaris had never seen Galaxy Quest, which is brilliant.
And it also has Alan Rickman in it.
And,
By Grafthars Hammer.
And, what's his name?
Savings.
What is the guy who played
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, thank you. From Home Improvement.
And Toy Story.
And what's the other new show that he's on? Wait, it's been around for a few years, but I can't think.
And what's her name? I don't know her name.
I don't know. My brain's pretty shot right now.
And Monk.
Think. Oh, yeah. What's his name? Crap, I can see his face. Yeah. Him. You know who we're talking about? Anyway, it's so funny. So funny. And then the Hubs and I are watching Season 5 of Covert Affairs as it airs, and Season 3 of Unforgettable as it airs. And I have a feeling Covert Affairs is going to get canceled after this season, because it's getting pretty, like that, you know. The Hubs even said, he was like, they've pretty much gone as far as they can with this. Unless they have some kind of dramatic, oh my gosh, huge change to revive the show, it's kind of on its last leg, I believe. Unforgettable's good, though. It's just fun to watch. So. And that's everything that we're watching, which was a lot. Because I was kind of sick this weekend, and so we watched a lot of stuff while I kind of, that's it. All right, I think we should move on to the next segment. Now it's time to talk about cows. First up, we're going to talk about summertime and the living is easy. Cow. Hashtag GGK summertime. So we started this in
June.
Beginning of June, and it ends the
last day of August.
Yes, so you have about a month to go, because when this releases tomorrow, it'll be the last day of July. Yep. So, anything that you knit, crochet, weave, or spin that you can convince us is related to summertime, you can enter. And you can enter multiple times. And I had a question, I forgot to tell you, it was after you went to bed last night, I think, asking, can you use the same reasoning to convince us for multiple projects? Yes, that's fine. And if you can't think of a reason, you did it in the summertime. We love the really complex reasons, though. They're funny. They make us laugh. So, we have at least 4 prizes, because we've had some prize donations. So, there's going to be 2 prizes of coupon codes for my Java Pearl Designs Ravelry store, donated by Christy Ray, who is Christy. There will be 1 prize of an up to $10 US pattern from Ravelry, and that was donated by Eileen, who is Leaner Online. So thanks very much to both Christy and Eileen. And then we will give away at least 1 thing from our prize bag. We'll see how many more prizes projects get entered. I think we're up near I think maybe between 150 and 160 entries now. I think that's right. But we had quite a few people enter this week. So, Damaris, why don't we give them all a shout out?
Atara, Andy, Angie's Hip ×2, AZ Knitwit, Beagle Mom Knitter, Britter the Knitter ×2, Deb R. is UK, or Debris, I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
Denise Chang, Ellie Jellybean, Falason.
I think it's Falalson.
Oh, Falalson.
Maybe.
4 Peanuts, Ayana ×3, Knit Princess 83, Leaner, Little Yellow Uke ×2, Looney Hiker ×4, Lupin Owns Jacob ×5, Phoenix Fire ×5, Pinky Peppy ×3, Soul and Soul Stitches.
Great job, y'all. Sorry if we messed up on the names. Sometimes names are harder to pronounce than you think they might be. So, great job, everybody. Keep up the good work, and you can enter multiple times as long as you've completed them during the June, July, August. You can feel free to enter them. And if you, please tag your project page, and if you post on social media, hashtag it with GGK Summertime, just so we can look at all the lovelies. And there's a chatter thread and all that jazz in our group. All right, on to the next segment. So, there's another Cal going. I am co-hosting along with Jasmine and Gigi from the Gilmore Girls, Maria from Subway Knits, and Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast. I'm co-hosting an Outlander Cow. So this is going to be an Instagram Cow. So you need to craft something that you can tie in to Outlander somehow. And Outlander, I talked a little bit about it a while ago, but Outlander is a series of books and a new TV series that's coming out on Stars in just a little bit. Just about less than 2 weeks now, I believe. Not safe for children. Damaris is not participating in this Cal and does not watch or read it, okay? Okay, just making sure you know. Because most of the stuff we talk about is safe for children. So, just want to give you a heads up on that. So, there are going to be some prize winners at the mid-season break and then some more at the end of season 1. You need to, when you post your project on Instagram, you need to hashtag it with both hashtag countdown to Outlander and hashtag kilt me now, K-A-L. You know, like kill me now, but kilt, because it's Scotland, kilt me now, K-A-L. There is, I know that Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast and I both opened threads in our respective groups where you can chat or ask questions or plan projects or encourage each other on your projects. So feel free to post there. I just opened that this morning, so it's there. I have not started my project yet, but I'm going to be doing a pair of socks in an amazing Outlander-inspired colorway that was dyed actually yesterday by my favorite LYS shop owner and dyer, Jess from Ginger Twist Studio. And so I'll show you that next week. But she's also donating a skein for y'all as a prize. So we haven't decided if we're going to do it at the mid-season or at the end of the season 1. But it will be a prize, and I will show y'all next week. And she's dyeing extras, so if you have to have it immediately, you can buy it from her. And she does have an online shop, so even if you're not here in Edinburgh, you can still order it online if you're interested. So I will show that off to you next week. And start thinking Outlander and figure out a project that you can tie into Outlander. If you have questions, post them in the thread, and we'll talk about it. All right, on to the next segment.
Now it's time for Ask the Geeky Girls, part of our show where you ask us a question and we answer it.
Yes, so what is this week's question and who is it from?
Kelly Cron, who is Kelly from Texas, asks, I think you may have told us before, but what are your favorite fiber-related podcasts? Do you listen to or watch any other podcasts?
Okay, so yeah, we have covered this before, but it's been a while, so we'll cover it again. It's not a big deal. I'm going to say from the get-go, this is not an exhaustive list of the podcasts that I watch and listen to, so please don't get your feelings hurt if you know I watch your podcast or listen to your podcast and I don't mention you. I just don't. I watch and listen to a lot. a lot. Like, I think I have over 30 podcasts that I watch or listen to in my podcast catcher. And so I just can't mention everybody. So I'm just going to mention a few that I'm really enjoying currently. But I enjoy them all or I would not watch them. Okay? Okay. I just don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt. Okay? Okay. So, let me start with audio. My current favorite audio podcasts are primarily international related. There's only one U.S. one. So I really am enjoying A Playful Day. And she helped plan and run Unwind Brighton that we went to a few weeks ago, which was brilliant. So I'm really enjoying her. And links to all these are in the show notes. Knit British. She typically only podcasts about once a month, but she talks about British wool and fiber, and it's really, really interesting and educational, and I really enjoy her. And actually, she is the one that instigated the whole Yarndale thing. She'll try to blame Claire Devine, but she's the one. She enabled us, kindly enabled us all to go to Yarndale. I cannot mention podcasts and not mention my absolute favorite of all time, which is the Gilmore Girls, which is an audio podcast. We really enjoy Jasmine and Gigi, and they're a lot of fun. Another audio podcast that I'm enjoying is Knit Spin Cake, and she is actually in the process of opening a yarn store here in the UK, and so it's been really fun listening to the journey on that. It's been really interesting. And then my last audio one that I'm going to mention today is Shiny Bees, and that's Jo, and she is a ton of fun, and she's also going to Yarndale, so it's gonna be, she's just a lot of fun. So pretty much international flavor on the audio podcast this time. Video wise, The Fat Squirrel Speaks is hysterically funny, so funny. Highly recommend her. Fiber and Dice. This is Rebecca, who is from Texas, and I'm really jealous because I found out this week and didn't make the connection until just this past week that she lives in a town in Texas where one of our best college friends also lives, and they are connecting and going to knit together and be geeky families together, and I'm very jealous. Lovingly jealous. And she talks about both knitting and spinning and gaming because her family is really involved in board games. They love that. So, Knit Run Dig, who is our friend Sam, who we visited in London a few weeks ago. And she talks about not only knitting and spinning and running, but also archaeology. So that's the dig portion. And she makes the lovely project bags that we adore. So, I wish she would podcast more often, but I know she's super busy. So, next up on my video list is the Mustache Podcast. They're also from Texas, and they're just really funny. They've been podcasting about a year now, I think, and they're just a hoot. Steph and Stacy. I'll Knit With You is a newer one, also by a Rebecca. And she is just a lot of fun, and she just dyed her hair blue. She's funny. I really enjoy her. And then last up that I'm going to mention this time is Pink Hair Girl. And she lives in South Africa, and she does have pink hair, which makes me super jealous. But she is a designer as well as a knitter, and I just really enjoy her. So, Pink Hair Girl, I recommend her. Now, non-fiber related was the other question. I have only one non-fiber related podcast that I listen to. It's an audio podcast, and it is called The Art of Simple podcast, formerly known as the Simple Mom podcast. But then it got to be where it was not just moms, and so she has a co-host every time she records, and it's just really interesting because it feels like you're just sitting there with a couple of BFFs chit-chatting about life and things, and sometimes there's a theme and they're talking about something, like the last episode of it was about a husband and wife and family that are working in, I believe it was in Iraq, trying to help children and teens with heart defects get the surgery they need. And so that's what that whole episode was about, but it was really, really interesting to listen to. But other times it's just, let's chit-chat about what's going on in your life, what books are you reading, what TV are you watching, and so it's just a lot of fun, but also about just the art of living life simply and I can't think of the word I want. Purposefully, maybe? So I really enjoyed that one. Now, you watch a non-fiber related podcast. It's not technically a podcast, it's more of a vlog, but you want to talk about it?
It's called Emma Approved by Pemberley Digital, and it's an updated version of Emma by Jane Austen.
Yes. And so it's just like short little vlog entries type of videos. And there's a lot of them, like 60 or 70, right? And then there's another one called...
The Lizzie Bennet Diaries.
That you haven't watched yet, but it's the same format. So, there you go. Lots of podcasts. I wish I could mention them all because there's a lot of brilliant ones. But there's just a few that maybe you haven't heard of that you could try out if you want to. So, thanks to Kelly for the question. And what should they do if they have a question for us?
Go to our Ask the Geeky Girls thread in our Ravelry group and post it.
All right. I think we're ready for the next segment. So now we're at the end of the show. We had a lot to talk about this week, didn't we? We told y'all. Just want to remind you that I've mentioned this the last few weeks. It's in the show notes as well. But Anna of Toil and Trouble Yarn is hosting a fiber retreat in New Hampshire in May of next year. And there's links and details in the show notes. I know a lot of the spots have filled up, so I can't remember how many spots she said was left last time I looked. But it's filling up, so if you are in that area or want to travel to that area for a fiber retreat, the details are in our show notes. So, you should check that out. I hadn't planned to do this, but I told Damaris I'm just going to throw this in here briefly about health, because some of y'all have asked. So, I finished my 11-week session at the pain clinic this week. There were some really good things about it and some not so great things about it. And I won't get into all that. There is one big dramatic change, though, that I'm having to make because of the final appointment with them, and that is in dealing with my sleep. And so if I seem a little more foggy or not quite on, it's probably because of that, and I'm not going to go into all the details unless you just want to know. I'm fine talking about it, but I don't want to bore y'all if you're not interested. So, but it's a pretty dramatic shift in trying to... I've always had sleep problems for as long as I can remember, and they're just getting worse and worse. So we're trying something rather dramatic to see if we can retrain my body to get the amount of sleep that I need and get healthy sleep and not just very non-recuperative sleep. So, and then I have another appointment at the pain clinic. I think it's 2 weeks from today, actually. Mid-August. To assess the medication I'm currently on, the medications I was on in the States before we lost our health insurance, and to try to make a plan to see where we want to go with the medication I'm on for my health. So, that is all kind of going on behind the scenes. If you want to know more details, feel free to post in the thread on Ravelry, or send me a PM, and I'm happy to talk about it. Like I said, I just don't want to bore you. So, but anyway, that's going on behind the scenes, and then I had that awful summer cold over the weekend that has made everything just really foggy. So, I haven't been as active as I want to be online and with my designing and stuff. So, hopefully, I'm kind of gonna slowly get back on track. So, yeah. So there was that. So I'll just throw that in there. Do we have anything else we need to mention?
I don't think so.
Next week's the 100th episode. Are you excited?
Sure.
Can you believe we've been podcasting for 100 episodes? That is a lot. I can't believe it. So, all right. Well, then why don't you tell them where they can find us online?
You can find us at geekygirlsknit.blogspot.com. There are links to everywhere else we are online: YouTube, iTunes, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Yes. So you should find us and join in on the fun. So until next week, we'll let you go. We'll say happy knitting. Bye. Have a great one. Say bye.